going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to Everyday Struggle. Nadeska, Akademiks, and Wayno here. My friends, what's good?
Good. How are y'all?
You have a very special outfit on today.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Stepping up the drip.
Are you stepping up the drip?
I don't know about that.
Listen, I'm a new man this week, man. I'm showing up in here early.
Early, bright-eyed. What's going on with you?
Yeah, I can see it earlier than me every
My
day.
sleep schedule is just off.
It's been off. You're up to something. You're not just happening to come in early this week.
Okay. Okay. All right, I'm just
With the
keep playing
half-jean jacket
on the
fit.
low.
Right.
All right, guys.
I'm feeling awake. Let's do it.
No? Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Wayno's the fashion icon of the. Someone told me I look like a Q-tip
I only actually
yesterday.
think about sneakers. I don't know, because sometimes he wears some shit, I'm like, is that hot? Maybe I just don't know.
Like, don't you
Ever
ever
disrespect.
ever question.
I'm serious.
You're
though.
not in any position to
This
question what
sneaker
anything
game,
I wear.
don't know. This nigga, even sometimes with the sneakers, I'm like, that's
Nigga, I could wear a white tee
Stop.
and you can't question that shit.
Stop.
You are in no position to question anything fashionable.
Yesterday, Wayno definitely wore some sneakers or some shoes from Dragon Ball Z. That shit is crazy.
What?
It was Y3s. It's Y3s.
I don't know what that
The
is.
internet.
Go do your
good.
Googles,
Okay.
nigga. Do
Go
your
to your
Googles.
Googles. All right,
Design
you
for Lock, I
guys.
don't care.
The internet will take care of you in this half jean jacket fit.
Don't
He has on True
let's
Religion.
get into the
Let's
show.
just keep in mind.
I'll salute to them. They sent it to me.
Right. He has on True.
Free
He's
plug.
Morgan Freeman. Everything this nigga wears free. So I ain't,
man.
you know.
You damn right. I ain't paying for a goddamn thing to accomplish cuts the budget, the wardrobe budget.
That shit ain't never
need the
happening.
haircut.
That ain't never happened.
Alright, so-
so
We
until
need the
then,
haircut budget
keep
back.
sending. Yeah, for real, we need mad budgets.
So,
Or roll into my paycheck.
we promised you to get to DaBaby's album, Baby on Baby, which also dropped last Friday. 13 tracks, features from Offset, Rich the Kid, Rich Homie Quan, and more. He's kicking off his tour soon, so Ak, if you want to catch him in New York, you can. But I know you both are big fans of this guy, so what do you think of the album?
I love this ignorant nonsense. This is great. I love this album from track 1 to track, was it 15 tracks or 16?
13.
13 tracks.
Glad you had such profound
He loves
thoughts
it so
to
much.
share.
No, I love
16, he
I
added bonus tracks to this shit. He
love
loves it so
ignorant shit,
much.
man. Like, he raps, he makes entertaining, ignorant music that just like it's fun. And I like it. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Again, we talked about it before. Like, his personality, I feel like when your personality outside of music matches the type of music you make, it's gonna work. It's not like he's like a different person. So, I mean, most of the tracks, I was realizing while listening to the album, like sitting down and listening to it, a lot of those tracks I've heard before, I just never connected to it being tracks from him.
Oh, like
So,
you just
like,
heard them
yeah, so I've
floating
heard
around
it-
the internet?
Yeah, because like, for example, like a bunch of those songs, they're on my like playlist, this and third, which my intern runs. But like, I've heard it even in passing. I'm like, yo, that sounds hard. Like the Offset and DaBaby song, I'm like, damn, that should sound hard. Now I'm connecting everything together. Like, when I listen to the whole album, I'm like, damn, this nigga's fire.
All right, so that's good because I feel like a lot of times once we get to the album, you guys are wildly unimpressed. Do you feel the same way?
Nah, I mean, he took like a few tracks from Blank Blank and put it on there. He added Rich the Kid to Best Friend, and he put Walker Texas Rangers on there. But overall, like I like exactly where he's going right now. I feel like this is something that it sounds like this album is like he curated himself. Like, he took the same producers he's been working with, put that together. It's not an updated production, but it's him for right now. I think that like the next shit that he probably drops no time soon is gonna be more stuff, like more different producers, him stepping into a different range. Or he might just keep building the guys he's working with. Overall, like I fuck with it. I like Blank Blank a little bit better, but I mean, this was cool.
Okay.
This was cool.
All right, so check out the project if you guys haven't heard it yet.
That track Sugar's fire. Can't even lie.
You should, and the video's fire
Video
too.
for it,
I
yeah.
didn't even see the video yet.
Yeah, in the video he's like
Distracted.
he's running around like a mailman, but he's stealing all the shit out the packages. You see shit?
I've seen that on Instagram. I haven't seen it on YouTube.
He taking money out of birthday cards. He taking packages. He dancing and shit, and then he act like he's dressed up like Suge. He reminds me of how like Busta Rhymes and his animated side. You know, like, cause he has like a black shirt on and all these like fake muscles, and he has like a dude getting beat up while he's signing the contract. But it plays into the theme of Suge Knight. Mm-hmm.
All right, that's dope. Check out the video. All right, so Kodak's been out. He's been back home for a while, right? He's been doing pretty well, releasing music. He did his nice little press run, etc. But I don't know, unfortunately, now he's caught up in this back and forth with Lil Wayne's family. So during a recent appearance at Club Live in Miami, he sort of took a shot at Lil Wayne on stage. He sort of walked his comments back. But anyway, let's just check out the video.
Oh my God.
Hey, Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne.
play, you late. You fucking maggot, you should have died when you was a baby.
All right, so it's not such a stretch that he would be asking for Wayne. We know that Wayne loves being at Live, but the rest of the commentary, of course, got under his family's skin. So his daughter, Reginae, hopped on Instagram and said, "You new little rappers need to start giving props and respect to the GOAT. My father don't bother nobody. He wouldn't even react to what was said. This man be in his own world, so leave him the fuck alone. You picked the night he didn't go to Live to say that you're bold." She also added that Kodak's music sounds like her dad's old shit. Kodak, of course, hopped on live and responded. Let's take a look.
Hey, that's what they say. They say Lil Wayne finna come pull up and come show you some love, bro. So now the club at the end, I say, where Lil Wayne at? Why y'all trying to make it seem like a nigga why y'all trying to make it seem like a nigga about, like said some crazy shit, like, like a nigga wanna fight Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne say he finna come pull up and show me some love. Why the fuck would I touch Lil Wayne, man? Come on now, man. Lil Wayne getting old. Lil Wayne getting old.
All right, so Reginae's mom, Toya Wright, also got into it a little bit. But anyway, are we just taking what Kodak said out of context, watching that first video clip?
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, like, I don't really know what to believe. I'm really confused at the whole thing. Like, cause I feel like in instances like this, like silence is golden, right? Like if Wayne was supposed to come to the club or whatever the case may be, and he didn't, and whatever he said, I don't think he should have like addressed it. Now, he didn't say nothing about that you should have died as a baby shit. I don't know if he was saying that to one of his homies or something playing around.
Right.
But I'm just confused at it. I don't like the fact that and I can understand like Reginae like jump into her father's defense, but I hate to see things like that happen because then now she opens up herself for somebody. It might not be Kodak or somebody else in Kodak's team, or somebody else
or
to
just
disrespect
fans
her,
on the internet to be disrespectful.
To be disrespectful, and then that shit could get out of hand all because of technology and miscommunication. But the reason why I'm like, I don't know whether to believe Kodak, but I kind of lean towards believing him a slight bit, is because I don't look at him as a person to like cop please or like backtrack his words. So I think like him saying something, he said it for a reason, like as far as why he was explaining what happened, but it's just confusing all the way around.
Listen, I agree with you on the last part. Who gonna say something to Kodak? Kodak's not the type of nigga to say some shit then backtrack and try to walk it back. Honestly, if you listen to the whole live where he was quote unquote explaining, he basically said, yo, this is the media just trying to basically act like I said something. He fully explained by saying, yo, I'm a fan of Lil Wayne, which he stated before, even when he dissed him. He said when he did diss him, he didn't like how Wayne, this was way back. He said, I dissed Wayne because I didn't like that Wayne did an interview, and when he was commenting on newer rappers like me, Uzi, and Yachty, he made a comment to say, I didn't even know these were rappers. I didn't even know these were actual names of rappers. So he said, I felt disrespect, so I went at him. But of course, they ended up doing a song together. And Kodak basically said, all that's water under the bridge. I have a huge admiration for this guy. So they got a song together, the Codeine Dreamin' song. He's in Live. If this is Live on Sunday, this is probably, you expect Wayne to be there.
Yeah, everybody's there.
Yeah, Wayne's people or the club hits Kodak like, yo, Wayne's gonna come through. He's expecting Wayne to show love. Again, I'm believing him with him saying that he wasn't on stage dissing, and it's probably how it looks online. Because if he was dissing, everything else just wouldn't make sense. Why would you be anticipating the guy to come to the club that y'all could have a good time and probably perform that song, and now you're dissing him? You get me?
And I like, we said this before, like Kodak is one of the most outspoken people that might say anything at any time, no care who's watching or who's taping, etc. So, like, I think when he said DaBaby shit, I think he might have been saying something to one of his homies or somebody around there, right? And it, again, it's getting taken out of context because for what reason? I mean, he's from Miami. I don't even want to put it on no street level because it's not no street shit. I think it's just like a misunderstanding, and that's why I hate to see, like, because of technology and Instagram, all of that, everybody jumps in and has their opinion, and now, like, you might have just spewed how you've been feeling, like, oh, you sound just like my dad and all that. Like, sometimes people need to stay out of things, you know, especially when it's a touchy situation. That's your dad, you know. If him or somebody else decides to say something disrespectful, then it goes into a different level when it didn't have to be there from the rip.
Right.
You know? The
internet forces you to respond to shit. Like, the sounds like old shit you said, it's hard to do that. Like, so.
Unless you're Wayne, who literally, I
He
feel like
ain't
he
gonna say
responds
shit. Like, Wayne ain't
once
gonna-
every
I'm
decade.
pretty
He'll
sure if
hop
we
out.
gave Wayne a phone right now, he can't log into his own Instagram. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I think you're
like,
right.
Like, just knowing Lil Wayne, right?
Yeah, he don't give a damn about none of that stuff.
But with Kodak even addressing this, and Regine did respond, you saw the internet just run into different people, right? They ran to Regine's mom's page, Toya, and be like, yo, look what they saying. Now she got to say something.
Yeah.
And Kodak's not ducking no face. Yeah. He got something to say to everybody. Then after that, they run to YFN Lucci's page, who's rumored to be dating Regine, because they want everybody to chime in. That's how you get, like, sometimes, like, the internet is really like the fucking schoolyard, and everybody just saying, yo, you gonna let him say that? You better say something. So, again,
hopefully this message just get to Wayne and he could just make one call. This seems like a phone
that could be
call
diffused in one phone
solution. You know what I
call,
mean? They
right.
apologize and squash it because it seems like Kodak is off of this right now.
Kodak also, he's so horrible at explaining himself. Like he didn't diss. He said, yo, imagine this. I'm telling y'all, I didn't diss him on stage while dissing his daughter now. You get me? Like, yo, he's horrible at that, but, you know, like, he's always been, like, kind of raw emotion, outspoken, never the person to choose his words carefully.
But he's trying these days. He's, like, trying harder, it seems like it. You know what I mean? That's why it's unfortunate that stuff like this is happening. That he has to lash out.
I don't think
I don't
he cares
think
either.
he gives one fuck.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, Kodak is not the person you're looking for an explanation. Like, Channel 5 News chiming in to Kodak Black. What do you feel? Like, he's going to say something crazy at any moment. So I think him explaining himself says it all, because he doesn't have to. And if he wanted to be on some bullshit, we've seen him do that 1,000 times.
And also him doubling down on the shit he said or felt. Remember when he was getting some backlash recently about, I believe it was like buying designer stuff, and he basically was like,
Gucci shit, yeah.
so y'all niggas can't tell me shit, the fuck?
Severino.
So again, he's not the type of person to fold to what people are saying online or just saying in general. So I'm believing him. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt.
All right, I do hope they work this out with the phone call.
Yeah,
though. We don't need this
simple
kind of
shit.
Kind of
that
drama.
don't need to go left.
All right, so in sort of boring but also sort of interesting legal news. So earlier this year, Kanye filed a lawsuit against his publisher, EMI Publishing. Now, normally, like us civilians, what do we care about Kanye's contracts? But now a copy of the lawsuit has been obtained by The Hollywood Reporter. And according to the contract, it kind of says that Kanye is not allowed to retire. So it seems like he started working for EMI around 2003. And I have to read some legal speak for you right now. Please excuse me. I'll read the short version. It says, at no time during the term will you, Kanye West, seek to retire as a songwriter, recording artist, or producer, or take any extended hiatus during which you are not actively pursuing your musical career in the same basic manner as you have pursued such career to date. It's just like a lot of legal speak here, but it sounds like he's really tied up in this one.
What's ill about this is that when you go over contracts, that shit is a coded language.
Yeah.
So a lot of things that might sound a certain way, that you might interpret it that it means some medieval crazy shit, and it might mean in certain terms. Like a capital D and a lowercase d at the start of a sentence in a legal agreement mean two totally different worlds. When I see stuff like this, it's like, I mean, I expect to see stuff like this in contracts. In most contracts, it says likeness here and throughout the universe. Every contract says
in perpetuity.
That. Yeah, it says that in every. So if we go do everyday struggle in Mars, like, you know, because of the brand that is put on it. So when I see something like this, it's like, it just seems standard to me. I don't think it's much more than that, other than him wanting to just be out of his publishing deal.
Yeah, the headlines were alarming, saying that he could never retire, but there must be a length to the term, and that's what I couldn't figure out. There's no way he signed something that had no end date.
Yeah, what it is that this is why, like, people should just, this is why they need everyday struggle. Because for the common regular person, they really go off headlines. They're gonna be confused by pretty generic shit. This is he's trying to get out of his publishing deal, right? Like, a lot of times in a publishing deal, they'll offer you money for a certain amount to control your publishing for a certain amount of years. They might have offered him some money up front.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which for the duration, by the way, the duration is 7 years. It says no more than 7 years. So if we're giving you, say, who knows, we don't know the figure, $20 million for the next 7 years. Nigga, you can't retire during the next 7 years because we fronted you money. That makes all the sense in the world. But of course, the simpletons online, oh my God, he can never retire.
But the crazy thing is,
No,
like, the
you can't
Hollywood
retire
Reporter
while
is reputable, right? So they're real outlets who are obtaining the contract, and the headline literally says Kanye West is contractually barred from retiring.
So
it doesn't say for 7 years.
No, but that is true though.
Yeah.
So it's a thing of selling the truth, but not included in the
parentheses
context.
for 7 years.
You get me? So it's selling a clickbait kind of truth title, but like when you read it, like again, you know what I mean? Like
I just advise everybody when y'all are like any person who wants to read something that has legal or law, like if it's a contract, you cannot read it unless you know how to read law language. You cannot read that and think you know what you're talking about.
Get a lawyer every single time.
Yeah, you can't just read. One time I went through like a contract. I mean, like 8 or 9 hours with some lawyers, and then I asked them. I said, "There's no way possible y'all could read a regular book, right?" And it's like, "No, we don't read books because of the way that you have to learn all of this different shit in law, and you learn it literally a different language within your language." So when people see this shit, just understand that you might not know what you're talking about.
And by the way, you have to realize like the reason why these things are explicitly stated, like in other like avenues of entertainment, like say for example sports, an NFL player could be in the middle of a contract, retire, and sit out a grace period of time and come back and he's now a free agent. Yeah. Okay, in some cases, not all. Yeah. But just to make sure that doesn't happen where people will play around with retirement to get out of a contract, right. You explicitly state you got to still be active, writing, recording, doing something to make sure the money that we gave you, we will have some type of return on our investment.
And hip-hop, I don't even know what retirement is considered. Like every single artist that has said they were retired or saying they were gonna retire has never retired. Like when you think about every single artist, Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, now we got Uzi, he in the crib cooking crab legs and shit, talking about some enjoying retired life. There is no retirement in hip hop to me because I feel like for the most part, these artists get into it for their passion. At any point in time, you can get inspired and want to do music. So are you not retired? Like, what is retirement? There's no retirement in this shit. And
by the way, which I believe the Hollywood Reporter also picked up on, because again, Kanye is trying to get out the contract. When you're trying to get out the contract, any contract you're picking on every single line. So they're citing that this statement that he cannot retire and has to be actively doing like 5 different types or either one of 5 different types of recording, writing, all that type of stuff in music, that violates like, what is it, the California Labor Code or whatever it is?
Section 2855, which says that personal contracts can go for no more than 7 years.
Yeah, if you read like the entire or the non-redacted part of his like lawsuit, he also claims that based on stuff he helped out with Jay-Z and this and third, that he should get out of contract. Like he's named everything in the world, but that's what lawyers are supposed to do.
Because it says, at least back into the legal speak, right? Through this term, it says you should remain actively involved in writing, recording, and producing compositions and major label albums as your principal occupation. So at least this graph, and I'm sure there's more, doesn't say just for you, Kanye West, right? Involved in writing. Is that like a general term, writing for anyone else who might be?
Well, I think that what that might go into is, and if he's trying to count it, because you know you have like a certain amount of allotted items that you got to produce or deliver in order to fulfill your agreement. So it's like, okay, if you see, like you see how Lil Wayne and 2 Chainz did an album before, that might count in 2 Chainz deal towards like his deliverables. Like, all right, this might be one of my options. I could say, all right, we're gonna use this as one of my options, so that puts me in another. That's one less album I have to give you from.
So
just
like
myself.
him working on the good music releases could have also counted. Well, I don't know
the
if
good
they're
music,
involved, but
possibly the good music releases or like the Watch the Throne could count. I just don't know exactly the specifics because this is like really like. It doesn't give too much context as to what he's going through or what he's trying to get out of it. It doesn't say how many albums he's owed or what he owed them.
It just says that according to the papers, he's been quote unquote laboring for them since 2003. So if he's arguing about the 7-year rule, then technically he should. It's
way over.
Free.
But you know what it is? He probably, listen, this is what it is. He cashed out on a pub deal very, very early, which at 2003, he had produced on Blueprint, Blueprint 2, all of those. So he had a lot of placements. He probably cashed out on a large pub deal on the production side really early and probably got in as a writer as well. And now, I mean, that was years ago. He can really re-up for another crazy pub deal, or they could give him more money for a crazy pub deal. He just might not be happy with where he's at, you know?
Yeah, this is pretty much the equivalent of, well, at least the process when Pump was trying to get out of his deal. You trying to get out of the deal, you find anything that could kind of show that contract is invalid, whether it's when you signed it, you were underage, whether it's like the time, and that would be a ballot in itself.
Yeah.
What do we constitute as 7 years? Who knows if they re-upped or whatever the case is, and he agreed to another sum of money. Pretty much, I look at this as, yeah, he want more money, man. That's fine. Yeah, want more money.
not a
Like,
stretch.
of course, it's gonna be presented to the media and the public like Ye is enslaved and he has to work. No, you get out your deal because you will probably want a bigger deal, or you just want to own your publishing rights by yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Yo, if you're an upcoming rapper and you're building your team and you have any friends in law school, tell them to major in entertainment law. There's a lot of money waiting for them out here.
Absolutely.
There will always be very confusing contracts that you could save your rapper friends from. All right, guys, so we want to get to a few more fan questions today, but today, real quick, an update on the rapper Lil C-Note. So his real name is Corey Jackson. Remember, he's a 12-year-old rapper who was arrested for allegedly selling his mixtape at a mall in Georgia last October. So according to CBS 46, he's facing disorderly conduct with violence, criminal trespassing, and an obstruction felony, which is also ridiculous. His lawyer said his client was not selling CDs at the time, and T.I. hit Instagram to show his support for the young rapper while highlighting sort of the big issues here. So we're trying to hit this kid with a felony charge, and then a woman who hung a toddler in her basement is getting like 10 months of probation or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, that's insane. I just think like for this kid, it's a bit discouraging, you know, for we always push entrepreneurship, and we always push like, you know, believing in yourself and pushing yourself, no matter what that may be, as long as it's something positive. And this kid is, you know, 12-year-old kid, could be getting into a lot of different trouble, doing a lot of different things, and he's just walking around, whether he was or not, even if he was just passing it out, he's not hurting or harming anybody. And it's just a little bit discouraging to see how he's being treated. Right. I mean, they're trying to charge him with a felony at 12 years old. Not forget the music stuff. That can derail his life in so many different ways from being such a young child, because there is no record expunction. Like, you know, they say that, but make one more mistake, they're gonna be like, well, when he was younger, he was selling CDs and doing all this other stuff, and then they'll never bring up the CD aspect. They'll just bring up the criminal mischief or whatever he could possibly get charged with.
Exactly.
So hopefully, you know, this goes in this young man's favor. This kid was on Ellen before any of this even happened, you know, so that just goes to show you how big what he's been doing has impacted people. So hopefully, you know, a lot of people in the industry or in the entertainment period can rally up behind him and show their support. Maybe that'll help a little something.
Yeah, hopefully, because it's just hard to justify doing this to a 12-year-old. This woman literally killed a child. She killed a child, and they're giving her probation.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, well, I don't know too much about the other case, so I won't really comment on that, but that sounds ridiculous too. But as far as this, again, as I said the first time, this is just another example of the police who are policing the community just not being a part of the community. You get me? Like, that's usually a big problem, because if you think about the charges, when you get a felony for disorderly conduct, for trespassing, that means that's a defiant attempt of disregarding either a warning or someone telling you can't do something. This kid is 12. Call his parents. If it's that big of a deal that he's selling CDs, call his parents, call somebody in his family. It's a lot of ways. The person who did this could definitely not have a child themselves, can't have a nephew and niece, because that's not how you handle kids. You get me? So to see it get this far, and I'm pretty sure it will, I don't think it's going, I think it's going to get thrown out.
Hopefully it does.
I think it'll get thrown out.
Yeah.
But I think that entire town looks incredibly horrible, because now you look at the police department to be like, yo, if that's how y'all deal with that type of issue, it shows that y'all have no tact.
Right.
And that's where you get the issues of when they run into that kid when he's like 16. Now, if you give him a citation at 12, he's 16, a little bit more developed. Now you in fear. Now you might be doing some things that. So again, it really opens the door to a lot of other things, and that's why we got to keep highlighting shit like this. And of course, T.I.'s a great spokesperson. He takes time. He's not one of those dudes who just post bullshit on Instagram. He uses Instagram for a lot of good things. So I'm glad he did that.
He needs to have his own like hip hop like actual news network where he does just like serious like Channel 5 level.
He should have a weekly show, and I think it's gonna get there.
Yeah, he has a voice, and he has a voice and the vocabulary for it, so
exactly.
he'll be fine.
Great vernacular. All right, so let's hit a couple fan questions before we go today. So this first one is from Tour Version, and the question is, what hip-hop album should rappers look up to in making a masterpiece? It doesn't have to be from this particular generation, but from all of them. There's so many masterpieces. How do you pick one?
I can't pick one. I gotta pick a few. I would pick Life After Death by Big as one, because I think that with Diddy and the Hitmen, what they did at that time is that they covered like every type of sound you could cover. Like Biggie had a West Coast song on there. I mean, a lot of people followed that pattern after, but Biggie had like Going Back to Cali, More Money, More Problems. Like he had storytelling on there where somebody got to die. Where it's like it's fictional, but it kept you intrigued. I would say I'll go there. I would go with Aquemini by Outkast as well. Shit, I would go by the Fix with Scarface. I'm just thinking about classic albums at this point. That could just probably tune you up and gear you to making something like that people have never heard, like an Illmatic or even Reasonable Doubt, you know?
I think it depends on what type of artist you are, because I couldn't tell average, again, I don't really call it mumble rap anymore, but that type of rap would be like, yo, go listen to that.
Yeah.
I mean, Life After Death, man, that's gonna inspire you. But like, it's a myriad of albums. Like, you know, it could be Jay-Z's Black Album. It depends on what type of artist you are. Drake, Take Care. Like if you a newer rapper, shit, it might be like Chief Keef, Finally Rich. Like that was a really monumental album that really inspired a lot of people. I would
That was
probably
his first official one. Mm-hmm. I like to, you know, I'm sorry, I don't mean keep your thought, but I really like Back from the Dead too more than I like.
Yeah, that was a mixtape. That shit was fire.
Yeah, I like that more than Finally.
But I think that commercial, the first commercial, like the other joints, it definitely sounded like he recorded it in his grandmama house.
Absolutely.
You get me? This was the first like fully mixed and mastered, put out by Interscope, really big look that really kicked off a whole scene.
Yeah.
So authentic, so organic. And now I see a lot of artists, they're trying to make music that is so authentic to where they're living and trying to bring people in. I would try to draw inspiration from that.
A big
you're
one
that type of
too,
artist.
I would say All Eyes on Me by Tupac. And the reason why I say that is because Tupac had a song, like, Tupac had a song about everything. Everything from being a tough guy to showing vulnerability to lyrical ability to hit records. Like he had songs about everything. So even whether you're an artist who's like trying to go the Pac direction or not, I feel like listening to an album like that, like All Eyes on Me, could just give you a wide range, or like a Life After Death could give you a wide range of what you could possibly do, whether you being super lyrical or not, like, you know?
Yeah, and even like for some artists who you could tell they're channeling their emotions through music. If you want them niggas who just angry at the world, Get Rich or Die Trying, man. You know what I mean? For real. Like
yeah, that's definitely one you could. 50 had a song about everything on there too. He had a lot of more crazy shit, but he had a lot of different songs on there too.
And I mean, even some of Kanye's albums, like for a lot of people who. Like you're expressing your feelings. Again, that's what I'm saying. It just depends on what type of rap. If you're like a lot of people, they're rapping about their emotions, how they're feeling, how they're growing, changing. I think a lot of Kanye albums could help, especially his later ones.
Shit.
All right, those are some good recommendations. Thank you, guys. We have another question from Lil Play-Doh. In today's rap game...
Lil Play-Doh. I like
got a question from him before. I remember this name. Yeah,
hey, Lil
Little
Play-Doh, we appreciate you.
Real
fans.
Drop a hit song next time. Yeah.
Play-Doh.
In today's rap game, some say lyricism isn't as valued as it used to be. What do you think is the most important factor that gives a rapper edge over others? Personally, delivery is everything for me.
I think lyricism is still valued. I think it's not valued on the forefront of like what's put in front of your face on a daily. But when you look at all the top artists, they have lyricism with them, from Drake to Kendrick to Cole to Meek. I was questioning Travis. Remember when BET put him as like lyricist of the year? I think that the way he uses his lyrics is a little bit different. But I've listened to certain shit and he says certain shit on there. So I think that like lyricism is still a very big part. And then when you see an artist like a Offset, I wouldn't say lyricism is what he's focusing on, but he's focusing more on substance, right? Well, you gotta have some lyrical ability to put that together. So I don't think that lyricism is not valued. I just think that on the forefront, it's easier to pass around and share the new kid that has his whole face tatted than it is to pass around the kid who has lyricism and bars, you know?
That's true.
Yeah, you know, I would really say, like, it's hard to just say lyricism, right? I think lyricism tied to everything that I feel is really important. Like, for me, the two really important things are melody and feeling. Melody, I like some shit I can sing along to. I like some shit where it feels like it's a dope song more than just like you're giving just bars or whatever. But not because you have melody means you're not lyrical. And I think we're seeing the change in times where you're seeing people play around with melody and have, because I think it was like either or.
It was either or for a long
You have to be non-melodic and just giving barbs, or if you're melodic, now it's some sing-song bullshit, which we're gonna think it's gonna be devoid of lyricism. I think people are meshing it too. Second, with feeling, like, I like when I'm listening to a song and I feel how I believe the artist felt when they were recording it. Whether they recorded a song by their mom, whether they recorded a song by maybe somebody who passed, maybe they're recording a song about something they went through. I don't know, that feeling, like, it puts me kind of in the same mood.
How do you feel when you listen to Murder on My Mind by YNW?
Wayno.
No.
I'm serious.
No.
Question.
Actually, I've been listening to a lot of YNW Melly.
Right.
I listened to a guy who was conflicted and who was lost. I've been listening to a song by him called Mama Cry. And, you know, this is a guy who has been incarcerated multiple times up until he just got locked up for a double murder. And it's him pretty much apologizing to his mom why he keeps getting locked up. And, you know, again, who knows? I don't know if he did whatever he's accused of, but I see a guy who clearly was on a lost path, and then he's not popular, so we know about him. But I don't know. I feel a lot of sadness for it. You know, like, it's when you listen to Murder on My Mind, to us there's a fictional part of it.
Yeah.
But then when you kind of start thinking about it, how vivid it is and how he paints it,
it's very eerie.
It is like that.
Very eerie.
But I don't know.
I just wanted to know. That's all.
He's still one of my favorite artists now. I'm listening to him the most right now. No lie.
All right, should we do, let's see, I think we have time for at least one more. So this one is from, what does that say? That Shorty Crow. How often should an artist try to branch out of their lane? Should they be trying to just hit, sorry, I'm gonna start that question over. How often should an artist try to branch out of their lane? Should they be trying to just hit their audience as hard as they can? Love the show. Thank you. You could think of this one in context of like an A Boogie, for example, because he said when he did the international artists, he felt like he isolated the core fan base. So when he did the recent album, he felt like he needed to bring it back home. But at the same time, it's definitely good to branch out a little bit. So what do you guys think?
I think you have to master whatever it is that is your lane in order to step in others. You know, a lot of artists, they get like a nice little momentum and they think, all right, I could basically do anything I want to do, and they haven't even gotten to the highest level of what they did good. So I think like you got to just stay in your lane to master it. Like, you know the whole thing, jack of all trades, master of none?
Right.
You could do 5 things, but if you're doing 5 things and it looks good, but you're not really getting results, focus all that 5 energy into one, get that right, then you can step on to other things.
That's true. Ak, you're also a big fan of Roddy Ricch. What do you think about him collaborating with Marshmello? He's such a huge DJ that when you go overseas, if you're in the UK, you're in Germany, people will probably know him, Roddy Ricch, just from that collaboration versus the music we know him for here.
And that's why I think branching out, this is good for, especially that commercialability of an artist. It's always good to, like, for every artist, you have your core fan base, and you probably know them well. Going back to A Boogie, he said, yo, I know what they want. But if you're trying to expand, and you have to expand as you try to grow your career. That's why you see Drake doing jazz, gospel, reggae, reggaeton, Latin trap. He's doing everything, right? But you have to try to expand and also tap into these other markets or these other groups of audience that may like your music. And shoot, you might bring them in and they might mess with stuff your core likes. I would say every now and then though, because your core is always gonna be what kind of is the engine to the whole ship, and you need to branch out to just be bigger. You get me? Like, again, those people who you probably, it's like fringe followers though. Like sometimes they might be like, oh, I only like when Roddy Ricch did a song with Marshmello. The other stuff, even though, shoot, if you like the rest of his discography, you're probably like, that's probably the least favorite song.
Right.
To that person, they only like that one song. So you branch out, you gain more fans that way, but you always got to stay true to your core. So I'll probably say on a percentage basis, 75% you're focusing on your core, 25% you got to try to grow.
Generous.
You got to try to grow.
So like Roddy Ricch, of course, doing a whole EP with Marshmello would be strange probably, but
Yeah,
doing a couple joints
and
every
way
few
too
months,
soon. You get me?
right,
Like,
would be cool.
Again, it also depends on how much cachet you've actually developed and earned with the fan base. If you've been holding them down for 5 years and you're like, yo, I'm about to try some new shit, you get me? Like, then I don't know if he did a whole album. I'm like slipping. Jay and was Linkin Park. Didn't they?
Well,
mashup,
yeah, they did do like a
album,
mashup project. Yeah.
Okay, so but even then, like if Jay did that right after Reasonable Doubt, like of course,
of course,
yeah,
yeah,
it would have
he
been like,
couldn't have
yo,
done that.
what's going on? You
Yeah,
get me?
but I mean, at that point when Jay did that, I think it was like he was starting to become more of a performing artist, and that's why he did it, because like Linkin Park, of course, you know, like with the whole rock and roll thing, they do tremendous live. So I think it was more about like them doing that to make a live experience, and it takes time to grow to that, because you don't want to do something and then your fan base is thrown off like, what the hell is that? Like, you know, and a lot of artists do that. Like they'll oh, this person just, because I have access to this artist, let me do something with them right now. No, like take your time, because sometimes you can overshoot yourself and underdeliver, you know?
That's true.
And also, you don't want to branch out before really developing that real strong core. You branch out where you're defined by something that's not true to your core.
Right.
So now everyone's like, oh, that's the guy that did that one thing. You're like, nah, but that's not like really my catalog. My catalog is this other stuff, but they're like, well, we only know you from this one thing. So again, I think it's a real timing thing.
Right, like, do you think that's timing with Tory Lanez and his Spanish album? Like, for real, like, I think that if he did a Spanish album immediately, it just would be taken so left.
Immediately as in now or a few years ago immediately?
He did it already?
It didn't come out yet, right? It's still in the works?
He dropped the song.
Yeah,
Okay.
he dropped the song.
But that's still in the works.
Yeah,
But is the timing good for him to drop a Spanish language album then?
I don't think it should be. I don't think it would be now. I understand how big.
You don't think now?
Nah, I don't think now, because I mean we're still getting used to him a lot of different ways as an artist. Even when we was here, we said like, okay, you have all the music and all of that, but the moves necessarily around the music we don't always see. So I think that in order for him to do something, he would have to have success. Like he's having success as himself, but he would have to do a couple of more things and do stuff in that culture to just jump directly into a Spanish whole entire album, you know?
With Tory, I think it's such a balancing act. So you come on the scene, well, by the way, he's been on the scene for a really long time, but let's just say mainstream-wise. Mainstream-wise, you get like your legs underneath you with Say It. So now we're thinking, hey, cool, new R&B guy. Then the R&B guy's like, no, I can really rap. Matter of fact, I'll even go with Drake. Matter of fact, I got bars. I'm gonna freeze. He was freestyling on every show. Come on, let's get serious, right? So now we're like, okay, he can rap. Now we also see like he's delivering some great hooks, Liddy again, all that. Great. So he gave us 2 albums where he's really rapping on, right? Also a mixtape. We're getting used to him, and now he's beefing. Well, not beefing, but like he's challenging everyone. I'm the best rapper. So we're kind of shedding that R&B thing, even though we know he could do it, and we're saying this is a rapper. Again, I think since he's given us 2, he could try to do something else again by doing the Spanish project. I just think it can't be so close. 2019, end of 2019, who knows?
Okay.
Salsa
That's
dance
just a
your
lot
ass
for me,
on the
man.
way to the charts, man.
I'm just like, I'm used to artists jumping in a rock, right? But just like a artist just jumping in doing a whole full Latin. You know who that backfired on? Nori. Nori had the song Oye Mi Canto, right? When reggaeton was the big thing in the mid 2000s, and it was a big hit, and then he tried to do a whole, it was a fire song, but then he went to try to do a whole album, it didn't work out.
Agreed.
And Nori's Puerto Rican. You know what I mean?
Agreed. Only counter to that, I would say, is especially in this time, which was a little bit different than when we were having a reggaeton boom, Latin trap seems more here to stay. Latin trap, compare the numbers for Latin trap and just like regular hip hop music, Latin trap does way more streams, which is, of course, Spanish is a more global language. So I don't know. Maybe because of, by the way, look at Bad Bunny, Ozuna, look at Anuel. These are artists who, they're kind of almost household names. We see Cardi B and a lot of other artists collab with them. Maybe it would work now. And who knows?
Right.
Tory could probably finesse his way to do it.
The biggest artist in the world, he could do whatever he
He
wants.
got a beef with Bad Bunny.
We're not going to see no Bad Bunny hip hop album with just him rapping in English. See, that's what I'm saying. That's not going to happen. Like, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
A hybrid, though. A hybrid.
I'm just saying.
Even though I think he's from like Prince Royce, like that nigga got songs. Not Prince Royce. Romeo Santos. Like he does shit in English and Spanish. Like, listen, you gotta cross over. Like, if you only speak Spanish, you have to like kind of throw some English in there just to make Americans feel comfortable.
I don't know, man. Maybe not.
Well,
they
we
do
gotta
so
go.
well.
And Daddy Yankee did it too.
Yeah, Daddy Yankee did, yeah.
Daddy Yankee's
Well,
on
Bad
it.
Bunny would
Gasolina,
definitely
right?
get all the features. Yeah.
Gasolina.
I feel like he's tight with
I'm telling you,
everyone.
man. When y'all see Puerto Rican Tory come out,
The people are waiting for Puerto Rican Tory. And on that note, we gotta go. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back here tomorrow on Everyday Struggle.
Drake and Tory gonna have a Spanish record together, and neither of them Spanish.